Creative thinking is the ability to look at problems, ideas, and challenges from new and unconventional angles. Unlike intelligence, which is often associated with logic, analysis, and the ability to process information, or talent, which can be innate ability in a specific area. Creative thinking is about generating novel ideas and making unexpected connections. In today's fast-paced and unpredictable world, creativity has become more important than ever. Whether you're solving problems at work, navigating complex relationships, or trying to build something new, thinking creatively gives you a powerful edge. It allows you to break free from routine thinking and discover solutions others might overlook. Consider Steve Jobs, who famously said, "Creativity is just connecting things." His ability to blend technology with art and user experience transformed industries. That kind of thinking didn't come from following a rule book. It came from seeing the world differently. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to develop and nurture your creative mind, no matter where you're starting from. Creativity isn't reserved for artists or inventors. It's a skill anyone can learn, practice, and use to make life richer, more dynamic, and full of possibility. Let's dive in. Number 1, the science behind creativity. For years, popular culture has suggested that creative people are right-brained, while analytical thinkers are left-brained. But neuroscience has debunked this oversimplified view. Creative thinking doesn't live in just one hemisphere of the brain. It involves the cooperation of multiple neural networks. One of the most important is the default mode network, DMN, which becomes active during moments of rest, daydreaming, and spontaneous thought. This network is responsible for internal reflection, imagination, and making unique associations between ideas. It works alongside the executive control network, which helps evaluate and refine ideas, and the salience network, which switches between the two. Together, these systems allow us to dream freely, spot valuable ideas, and bring them into reality. But what about the age-old question, are people born creative, or can creativity be developed? The truth is, while genetics may give some individuals a head start, creativity is not a fixed trait. It's a skill that can be cultivated. Studies in neuroplasticity show that the brain can change and grow through experience and deliberate practice. Just like learning to play a musical instrument or mastering a new language, creative thinking improves the more you engage with it. Children, who naturally ask why and what if, display the kind of uninhibited curiosity that fuels creativity. Unfortunately, many people lose this openness as they grow older due to societal pressures, fear of judgment, or rigid education systems. Reclaiming creativity means reconnecting with that sense of curiosity and allowing yourself the freedom to explore without immediate judgment. Psychologists studying creativity often divide the process into divergent and convergent thinking. Divergent thinking involves generating a wide range of ideas, no matter how wild or unconventional. It's about brainstorming freely, thinking laterally, and exploring many possible directions. Convergent thinking, on the other hand, is the ability to evaluate, refine, and select the most promising ideas from that pool. Both forms are essential. A creative mind doesn't just dream big, it also knows how to focus and turn ideas into actionable outcomes. Researchers like J.P. Guilford and later, E. Paul Torrance, developed tests to measure creative potential by assessing fluency, flexibility, originality, and elaboration in thinking. Understanding the science behind creativity reveals a powerful truth. Creativity isn't some magical gift possessed by a lucky few. It's a complex, dynamic process that anyone can learn to harness. With the right mindset, environment, and practice, anyone can awaken and sharpen their creative mind. Number 2, barriers to creative thinking. Despite our natural capacity for creativity, many people find themselves stuck in repetitive patterns of thought, unable to break free and think differently. This is often due to a number of internal and external barriers that slowly erode our creative confidence. One of the biggest killers of creativity is fear of failure. When we're afraid of getting it wrong, we tend to play it safe, choosing ideas that are familiar or socially acceptable rather than bold or innovative. Closely related is perfectionism, which convinces us that every idea must be flawless from the start. This mindset stifles experimentation and prevents the messy, imperfect beginnings that creative breakthroughs require. Overthinking is another trap. When we obsess over every possible outcome or try to predict every step in advance, we paralyze the spontaneous side of our brain that generates new ideas. Add to this the weight of societal conditioning, the subtle and not so subtle messages we receive about what's normal, useful, or realistic, and it becomes even harder to think outside the box. Institutions like schools and workplaces often unintentionally contribute to this problem. In many educational systems, the focus is placed heavily on standardized testing, conformity, and correct answers, leaving little room for exploration or creative risk-taking. Students quickly learn that being wrong is punished, and this discourages the kind of free thinking that fuels creativity. Similarly, many workplace cultures prioritize efficiency, predictability, and short-term results. While these values have their place, they can suppress innovation by discouraging experimentation and rewarding only proven methods. Employees may hesitate to share unconventional ideas out of fear of being judged, dismissed, or seen as unprofessional. When organizations lack psychological safety, the belief that it's okay to make mistakes or challenge the norm, creative thinking withers. Recognizing when your creativity is being blocked is the first step toward reclaiming it. If you find yourself avoiding new challenges, constantly second-guessing your ideas, or sticking only to what's already worked in the past, you may be stuck in a creative rut. Pay attention to how often you say things like, "I'm not creative," or "that idea is probably stupid." These thoughts are signals that internal barriers are at work. Also notice your energy levels. True creativity often feels energizing, playful, even a bit chaotic. If your thinking feels rigid, heavy, or overly controlled, it's time to reassess. The good news is that once you become aware of these barriers, you can start dismantling them, replacing fear with curiosity, perfectionism with experimentation, and overthinking with action. Number 3, habits of creative thinkers. Creativity isn't just something that strikes in flashes of inspiration. It's a practice, and like any practice, it thrives on daily habits. One of the most powerful habits for boosting creativity is journaling, which gives the mind a safe space to explore thoughts without judgment. Regularly writing down ideas, questions, or even seemingly random thoughts can spark unexpected connections and insights. Mindfulness is another crucial habit. By learning to quiet the noise and become fully present, creative thinkers become more attuned to subtle observations and inner cues that others might miss. Staying curious, asking why, what if, and how keeps the creative muscles active and engaged. Curiosity leads to exploration, and exploration leads to new ideas. Many of history's greatest thinkers and artists, from Maya Angelou to Albert Einstein, designed their daily routines to include structured time for creative work. They understood that creativity flourishes not in chaos, but in a rhythm that balances focus and freedom. Some dedicated mornings to uninterrupted work, when the mind is fresh and less distracted. Others incorporated long walks, scheduled reading sessions, or even rituals like lighting a candle to signal the start of creative time. These routines weren't rigid. They were supportive frameworks that helped them access flow states and sustain creative output over time. Interestingly, boredom, rest, and solitude, often seen as unproductive, play a vital role in creativity. When the mind is not bombarded with constant stimulation, it begins to wander, reflect, and make unusual connections. This is why great ideas often emerge in the shower, during a walk, or while lying in bed. Rest allows the brain to consolidate information and regenerate the energy needed for deep creative work. And solitude creates the quiet necessary for original thoughts to surface, free from the influence or expectations of others. It gives you the mental space to hear your own voice and pursue ideas that truly resonate with you. Creative thinkers know that silence isn't empty. It's where inspiration begins. By cultivating daily habits that support mental clarity, self-reflection, and playful exploration, anyone can nurture a lifestyle where creativity doesn't just visit occasionally, it lives there. Number 4, the role of environment and inputs. Your environment plays a powerful, often underestimated role in shaping your creativity. The physical spaces you spend time in, your room, workspace, or even the local cafe, can either stimulate your imagination or shut it down. Cluttered, chaotic surroundings may overwhelm the mind, while sterile or uninspiring ones might lull it into passivity. On the other hand, environments that are visually engaging, organized, yet flexible, and infused with natural light, plants, or art tend to encourage creative flow. But it's not just about the physical. Your digital environment, the content you consume, the apps you use, the notifications that constantly ping, also has a direct impact on your mental clarity. Constant distractions can fragment your thinking, making it harder to dive deep into ideas. Curating your digital life with intention, following creators who inspire you, limiting digital noise, and making space for deep focus can nurture a healthier creative mind. Equally important are the inputs you feed your brain. Creativity thrives on rich, diverse stimulation. Reading broadly, listening to thought-provoking podcasts, engaging in meaningful conversations, and exposing yourself to different cultures and perspectives all expand your mental palette. New ideas are often born when unrelated thoughts collide in unexpected ways, and those collisions happen more frequently when your input sources are varied and dynamic. Conversations with people outside your usual circles can offer new viewpoints, challenge your assumptions, and open doors to creative insights you wouldn't find on your own. That's why experiences like travel, novelty, and cross-disciplinary learning are so energizing for the creative mind. When you travel, even if only to a nearby town or unfamiliar neighborhood, you break out of your routine and start noticing the world with fresh eyes. Novelty wakes up the brain's attention systems and sparks curiosity. Trying something new, whether it's learning an instrument, attending a lecture outside your field, or experimenting with a new hobby, introduces you to different modes of thinking. Cross-disciplinary learning in particular is a powerful catalyst. Many of history's most creative minds were not specialists in a single area, but explorers across many. When you combine insights from science, art, philosophy, technology, or nature, you create fertile ground for innovation. In essence, the more diverse and intentional your inputs, the richer your creative output. By designing both your physical and mental environment to support curiosity, focus, and exploration, you create the conditions where creativity can truly thrive. Number 5. Creativity in action, solving problems differently. Creative thinking isn't just for artists or inventors. It's a practical tool that can transform how we approach everyday life. Whether you're navigating a difficult conversation at home, solving a complex problem at work, or trying to make a big decision about your future, creativity helps you see more than just the obvious options. At work, for example, instead of solving a declining sales issue with more aggressive marketing, a creative thinker might reimagine the product's core appeal, target a new audience, or develop a community around it. In relationships, instead of defaulting to arguments or avoidance, creative thinking might suggest writing a heartfelt letter, introducing humor to diffuse tension, or changing the environment where a conversation happens. In decision-making, creative individuals don't just choose between A and B, they look for option C, or better yet, create option D. They ask, what am I not seeing? Or what would happen if I flipped the problem on its head? One striking example of creative problem-solving comes from Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Before she became a billionaire entrepreneur, she was a frustrated consumer. She wanted to wear white pants to a party, but didn't have the right undergarment to give a smooth look. So she took a pair of pantyhose, cut off the feet, and wore them under her pants. That moment of improvisation sparked an idea. Unlike others in the shapewear industry, who focused on complicated product designs or niche markets, Blakely approached the problem like a user and innovated from experience. She had no background in fashion or manufacturing, yet used her outsider status as an advantage. She cold-called factories, pitched department stores personally, and even wrote her own patent application. Her creative thinking didn't just solve her own wardrobe problem, it redefined an industry. But creativity doesn't always need to be revolutionary to make a difference. Often small creative tweaks lead to significantly better outcomes. For instance, a teacher struggling to keep students engaged might ditch the traditional lecture format and turn a lesson into an interactive game or role play. A couple stuck in a routine could decide to swap roles for a day, gaining empathy and resetting dynamics. Even something as simple as rearranging your workspace, changing the route you take to work, or scheduling no phone hours can refresh your perspective and spark new ideas. These changes may seem minor, but they create a ripple effect that reshapes how you approach problems and opportunities. What ties all of this together is a mindset, a willingness to question assumptions, try new approaches, and embrace uncertainty. Creative thinking is not about being clever for the sake of it. It's about being open to new ways of seeing and doing, especially when the stakes are real. When you bring creativity into everyday life, you gain not just more options, but more confidence in your ability to shape outcomes instead of just reacting to them. That's the power of creativity in action. Number 6, overcoming the fear of being weird or wrong. One of the most persistent obstacles to creativity is the fear of being judged. Many people hesitate to share their ideas, not because they lack imagination, but because they're afraid others will label their thoughts as weird, unrealistic, or just plain wrong. This fear often begins early in life, when well-meaning teachers, peers, or parents dismiss or ridicule unusual ideas. Over time, we learn to censor ourselves, sticking to what's safe and acceptable rather than risk standing out. In adulthood, this fear is reinforced in workplaces and social settings where conformity is rewarded and originality can feel risky. The truth is, every bold idea looks strange before it becomes accepted. Innovation and originality always carry the risk of rejection, but they also carry the potential for transformation. Developing the confidence to express unconventional thoughts starts with changing your relationship to fear. Instead of viewing discomfort as a signal to stop, learn to see it as a sign you're pushing boundaries and growing. Confidence doesn't mean being fearless. It means being willing to act in spite of fear. One powerful way to build this muscle is to regularly practice sharing your ideas in low-stakes environments, such as brainstorming with friends, journaling without judgment, or participating in creative communities that value experimentation. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who embrace diverse thinking helps create psychological safety, a space where you're free to explore without fear of ridicule. Over time, the more you put your ideas out there, the less power the fear of judgment holds. It's also essential to learn how to distinguish constructive feedback from discouragement. Constructive feedback is specific, actionable, and focused on helping you grow. It addresses the idea, not your identity. It might challenge you, but it also supports you in refining and improving your work. Discouragement, on the other hand, often comes in vague or dismissive statements like, "That'll never work," or "That's a dumb idea," usually with no effort to understand your perspective. Recognizing this difference allows you to filter out unhelpful criticism and focus on the kind that helps you evolve. Not everyone will understand your ideas, and that's okay. Creative thinkers learn to listen to feedback, but not to be defined by it. The world needs more original voices and bold perspectives, and the cost of staying silent is far greater than the risk of being misunderstood. When you stop trying to be normal and start embracing what makes you different, you tap into your true creative power. Number 7, long-term growth as a creative thinker. Building a long-term creative practice requires more than just waiting for inspiration to strike. It's about establishing routines, habits, and mindsets that nurture creativity over time. Just as writers, artists, and entrepreneurs dedicate themselves to their craft, you too can create a creative practice that supports steady growth. Start by committing to regular time for creative work, whether that's daily or weekly. Establishing a ritual around your creative time, whether it's a morning journaling session, an afternoon sketching practice, or a quiet hour of brainstorming, helps make creativity an ongoing part of your life. Over time, this consistent engagement builds momentum and strengthens your creative muscles. Just like training for physical endurance, creative growth thrives on practice and persistence. Tracking and reviewing your ideas is crucial for long-term progress. Keeping a creative journal or idea log allows you to capture thoughts as they arise, even when they seem insignificant. Revisiting these ideas regularly helps you see patterns, identify which concepts resonate most, and understand how your thinking has evolved. Set aside time to periodically review your past work. Ask yourself what worked, what didn't, and why. Reflect on your failures as much as your successes, as both offer valuable lessons for refinement. This process not only helps you clarify your direction, but also sparks new insights that build on past ideas. By regularly reviewing and refining your creative output, you ensure that your ideas keep growing, maturing, and expanding. Consistency is a powerful driver of creativity. While it's tempting to rely on sudden bursts of inspiration, long-term growth comes from sustained effort. Inspiration may be fleeting, but creativity is a muscle that strengthens with daily use. Regularly showing up to do the work, even on days when you don't feel particularly inspired, keeps your ideas flowing and your skills sharp. It's through consistent practice that the magic of creativity often emerges. Those little incremental steps add up, leading to big breakthroughs over time. Creative thinkers know that the secret to long-term success is not waiting for moments of genius, but continuing to show up, refine, and evolve, one idea at a time. In the end, it's the habit of creating that ensures your creativity becomes a lasting force in your life. Creativity is not reserved for a select few with special talents. It's a way of thinking, a mindset, and a skill that anyone can develop with the right practices and attitude. Creativity is about seeing the world differently, asking new questions, and embracing the unknown. It's not just for artists or innovators. It's something that can enhance every part of our lives: work, relationships, and personal growth. The world is full of problems waiting for fresh solutions, new ideas, and bold perspectives. And the truth is, the world needs your ideas. You have a unique viewpoint, a creative spark that, if nurtured, can contribute to shaping a better world. So take that first step today. Try a simple, creative exercise. Shift your routine, or question a belief you've held for a long time. Push yourself outside your comfort zone and begin practicing creativity in whatever way feels most natural to you. The more you exercise your creative thinking, the more powerful it becomes. You don't need to wait for permission or perfect conditions. Start now and watch how your creativity transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you.